Yo, what is going on, guys? We have another video today talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. I know I'm kind of just milking this like a big fat juicy cow right now, but I mean, if I'm being honest, what else is really going on in gaming right now to talk about? The only other thing I really care about besides the Switch 2 is Doom: The Dark Ages, which is about a month and a half away. It's actually getting pretty close, which I'm pretty excited for. But besides that, there's really nothing. We still don't have any kind of estimated release times for GTA 6 or Ninja Gaiden 4, which are games I'd be interested in talking about. So we're gonna talk about the Switch 2. If you have a problem with that, tough shit. Now, I honestly was looking forward to the Switch 2 reveal. I actually liked the Switch 1. It was a bit underpowered, but the games for it were fun. And especially with the state of modern PlayStation and Xbox, I was looking to Nintendo to kind of revitalize my love for gaming. And they definitely didn't do so with their reveal. Not because of the stuff shown off itself, but because of all of the anti-consumer practices. Things like games costing $80. Things like having to pay to use simple voice chat features despite the fact that PlayStation and Xbox let people use party chats without paying for online subscriptions. Having a button that you can only use if you have Nintendo Switch Online. More expensive physical games. Physical games only coming with a download code in some cases. And of course, the topic of today's video, the price of the Switch 2 itself. Because Nintendo decided to come out and actually respond to people complaining about the price of the Switch 2. And honestly, this response is so bad that I don't think they should have said anything at all. Sometimes it's just better to keep your mouth closed and not say a thing. And well, this is definitely one of those cases. So I was getting ready for bed last night, but I opened my phone and I decided to kind of look through Twitter before I went to bed, and I didn't really see much going on. I saw a few Twitter manchildren crying over Microsoft testing out their co-pilot with Quake 2. By the way, if you guys want to see me cover that, let me know. But I did see something very interesting from Insider Gaming, and that's regarding the Switch 2. The tweet from Insider Gaming says, "Can't afford a Nintendo Switch 2? Buy a Switch 1, Nintendo says." And they link an article, so I mean, I had to check this absolutely fantastic article out for myself, and it did not disappoint. So what I thought we could do today is just go ahead and go over the article together. Let's get straight into this shit, emphasis on the shit. Can't afford a Nintendo Switch 2? Buy a Switch 1, Nintendo says. Well, god damn, bro, Nintendo is just going savage on us brokies right now. They straight up told us if we ain't talking money, they ain't listening. Anyway, let's keep going. Now, I swear I've heard somebody say something very similar when talking about a console before, but luckily they bring that up later in this article, so we'll save it for then. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders are opening up in various regions, not you United States, today and tomorrow, meaning that likely millions of people are set to make the $450 purchase on the new console. Unfortunately, however, there are plenty of others that won't be able to afford the Nintendo Switch 2. Like, personally, I can afford it, but I'm not gonna be getting it. It's not even the price of the console itself that I take such a big issue with, because I was willing to buy the ROG Ally. My big issue is the $80 games, which we know damn well is gonna become the industry standard if this shit succeeds. Like, sure, the ROG Ally was expensive as well, but the games that I have on it are Steam games, which I often get on sales for like 15 bucks. That was appealing to me. What isn't appealing is the Switch 2 at 450 US bucks, and then $80 games on top of that, and an online subscription. Seriously, can someone give me one good reason why paid online should still be a thing in 2025? In a recent interview with CBC, my absolutely favorite source of news by the way, which took place prior to the console's pre-orders being delayed in the United States, Nintendo of America's president, Doug Bowser, was asked about the console's price and what players who can't afford it should do. His response, play the original Switch. God damn, bro, Doug Bowser doesn't give a flying fuck. Bro, I'd have more respect if he just came out and said, get your fucking money up, biatch. The fucked up part is in Japan, it's actually a really good price. I think it's equivalent to like $350 US. But they made sure to region lock it so US players don't buy a Japan version and change the language. They made sure you're gonna empty that goddamn wallet. You're gonna cough up those pennies to Doug Bowser and you're gonna like it. As we look at Nintendo Switch 2 and you think about the feature sets that I talked about, we believe that the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experience overall, Bowser said. Well no, you thought it was $350 worthy and that's why you priced it at that in Japan. You're just making us cough up more money for the hell of it. We recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available so people can still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of platforms they come in. I mean, I could see that defense if you were going to release games like the new Mario Kart for the base Switch, but let's be real, that's not happening, dude. Like with the PS5, if you can't afford the PS5, for a few years you can still buy, and well, even still, you can still buy a lot of PS5 games with PS4 versions. You see things like Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, games like that launched for the PS4 and the PS5, and while the PS4 version had worse performance, it still is a way to experience those games. And I think the Switch 2 should do something similar if they want to make this defense that, well, you can still buy the base Switch. Another thing they could do if they wanted to help out the people who couldn't afford the Switch 2 at its price point is release something like the Nintendo Switch Lite, like they did with the Switch 1, where it's the same thing but it doesn't have the connectivity to a TV and it's like a smaller version. That would also be a good move to pull, and maybe they'll do that, we don't know yet. It definitely would be a smart move considering the price point of the Switch 2 and the current state of the economy. While it's not as direct as Don Matrick's response regarding the Xbox One requiring a constant internet connection in 2013, it still isn't something that's likely to sit well with a lot of players. And this is what I was talking about before when I said that their response reminded me of something that happened with a console before. When the Xbox One came out, you actually could not use it without internet connection. And of course, a lot of people kind of spoke out against this and asked, you know, what's going on with this? Why can't I use it without the internet? The 360 could be played without the internet. And Don Matrick, a representative for Xbox, said this.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
So yeah, it's probably not a good thing if the entire gaming community is comparing your launch to the launch of the Xbox One where that was said. Just saying. But of course, everyone's favorite group of people in any gaming community, fanboys, are here to share their opinions, and I am here to laugh at them. So let's get into some fanboy responses to people calling this out. Nintendo boss Doug Bowser on the Switch 2's price. Some people may not be able to afford it. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platform is available via CBC. Fortunately, there's a product available for those customers. It's called the Xbox 360. Now, some fanboys did not like this response. Not quite the same. That was in the context of customers not being happy about an always online device. Arguably, they were ahead of their time. I don't know anyone who, even when gaming alone, isn't online. It was never truly a big deal. So not only do we have a Nintendo fanboy here trying to run damage control for the shitty response, he's also defending always online on console. Truly a 2-for-1 in the retention department. So the guy who posted the original comment tells him the tone deafness is the same, which I agree with. It's not the exact same scenario, but it is a very similar situation, and it's just as tone deaf. It's one of those situations where, honestly, I think he would have been better off just not making a response to the outrage at all, rather than saying some stupid shit like this. Another fanboy jumps into the fray. How is it tone deaf? The message people are sending is, we can't afford to buy a Switch 2. And their response is, here's a more affordable product instead. The original commenter hits him with a reality check. People's concerns aren't that they can't purchase a Switch. It's that they've been priced out of the new product. Most of them already own a Switch. It's tone deaf. he'd have been better off just apologizing and saying that cost of development for the system was really high. Or, you know, he could simply sell it at the same price that he sold the Japanese version at, and maybe not region lock the Japan version. So Cult Classic Cage says, crazy the amount of mental gymnastics Nintendo YouTubers will do to defend Nintendo when Doug Bowser outright disrespected gamers critical of Nintendo's greedy actions. Be honest, you need the Switch 2 for views and clicks. You don't give a fuck about your audience or gamers. And everyone's favorite Harmon Smith responds, I haven't even been making that many videos lately. Well, thank God. Draxon posts, I like how Doug Bowser's response was, oh, it's expensive? Then stick to the Switch, BROKIE. I really do hope the Switch 2 undersells. Which if it does, maybe they will do what they did with the Nintendo 3DS and do a price cut. I mean, that would be a pretty good outcome. But of course, a fanboy rushes to the defense. That's not at all what he said. I recommend you read the actual quote instead of listening to people on social media. I mean, that is pretty much exactly what he said. He told people not buying the Switch 2 because it was too expensive to stick with the Switch 1. The only thing he didn't say is, you know, the word BROKIE. Which, I mean, he might as well just said it. And Draxum replies, I believe I saw the quote, I'm just saying how it felt. Which, you know, fucking facts, dude. But this video is already approaching the 12-minute mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. I think if you're in Japan, they're actually selling the Switch 2 for a very reasonable price. Actually, a very, very good price. However, in America, not so much. And I think if you're gonna make statements like this, you might as well just not make any statement at all and stay silent about it, or say, yeah, it was expensive, or I don't really know. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike and a mean comment, and I'm out. Peace, peace.